Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for being here, wherever you're joining from. Welcome to another week. It's been a week. Feels like it's been a long week and a short week at the same time. Been up to a lot of stuff this week. So anyway, good to see everybody here. Welcome to the chat. It was nice having John on the stream last week. If you missed that show, do check out the recap. I had John Barker from Here to Record on the stream, and we talked about his new app, H2R layouts. Very cool stuff. So check out that stream if you missed it. That was a lot of fun. And also, that was a great test of the remote guest system using Zoom ISO into the RØDECaster video for most of the video switching, which was good. So yeah, welcome back. Hopefully everything's looking and sounding good today. I did not do a full test, and I even rebooted the stuff this week because it was so hot in Portland last week. I shut everything down just to save the air conditioner some work. So yeah. First thing I should do is since I forgot to reload the map before the stream started, what I should do is fix that in Companion with another automation, because I just realized what I can do. Normally what I do is I am on this page and I press this button, which kind of queues everything up, and it does like sets up the graphics. It starts the countdown timer and the music and a bunch of that kind of stuff. And what I should do is add a extra step to that, which tells the map that is open in OBS all the time to reload itself. So I have a button for that I normally use, which is over on this page, and it just sends this up to my overlay system. So I think what I'm going to do is just add it to the end of this. Probably add a little wait. Wait a second, because it's also doing a bunch of other commands. I don't want to blast things at it, but then I can send that, which then should make me not have to remember to do that when I get started. So big fan of automating as much as I can. Cool. Mark says, have I tried his new app, ComSpace? I have not. I have not at all. I don't really, since I just talk to myself in here all the time, I don't really need comms because I can hear myself just fine. So kind of hard for me to test that. Michael took over my pin on Portland. Oh, cool. I tested my new bonding encoder at Hayward Field during Prefontaine Classic yesterday, and it worked great. So happy, completely full stadium of 12,000. Wow. Well, that's fantastic. That's good news. My dorm room was across the street from that a while ago. That's cool. Glad to hear that it worked. Yeah. So last week, since I had John on the stream, I didn't get a chance to share the update about the video cart that I used on the bike ride last week, or 2 weeks ago. Last week. Anyway, I did scramble and grab my videos off the 360 camera this morning to get some clips to share here. And I should be able to roll them with, oh, I wonder if, does Live App know if the source is in, if it's in a super source, does it know if it's on the stream? Let's find out. It does. That's smart. It auto-played that. So this was the cart setting up the photo booth, and you can see the photos printing out my test photos. I had the Insta360 strapped to a selfie stick that was strapped on the side of that cart, and then doing photos of people as they arrived. This was like the wait for everybody to show up to gather on the for the ride, and then we'll take off here in a minute. And it worked well. It worked out great. It was nice to have a little counter height surface there. One thing I did not do is I did not end up actually folding the legs down because it was my bike has a super sturdy kickstand on it, and this was attached to the bike, and it ended up being strong enough that just ends up being strong enough that I just left it on the wheels. So it was, one these the selfie stick wobbling. So the two wheels of the trailer and the attached to the bike was strong enough. So you can see the 360 stabilization is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. It's a little wobbly, but ended up actually riding pretty smooth. The one thing I need to fix is the battery was not, I don't have, ironically, I don't have enough points to strap things to down on the inside. I have plenty of things to strap to the walls, but the battery, I need to strap the battery down because it was bouncing. And it was very loud. So it was like rattle, rattle, rattle the whole time. But other than that, everything else was great. I was able to, within like a minute, pack the printer and the iPads inside in their little padded cases. I did get sent the video that he's filming of me right now. I wonder where that went. I should find that. And pack everything pretty quick, but I left the computer monitor on top, strapped to that post. And it worked great. It was, what did the weight come in at? I think total was 190 pounds for the cart. So actually not that bad. And it was great. It was a fun ride. This was the start of the ride going down the NATO path. I was trying to zip ahead during this part because I wanted to get to the Burnside Bridge to get a photo of people backwards, pointing backwards. And, zipping ahead to the Voodoo Donuts location to get a photo of everyone here. And then this was after we all had gathered, did a group photo. And the ride took off from there then, going across the Burnside Bridge. Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun. And then my favorite clip from this ride was here's going up the bridge. My favorite clip from this ride is this one where we went through the tunnel at the Lloyd Center. So this one, this is super sped up. The underbelly of the Lloyd Center, and then back up into the parking lot. Yeah, it was fun. Andre says, in the super source you just showed, your camera looks low res, video playback is sharp. That doesn't... Are you sure your YouTube player isn't on a low resolution? Because sometimes YouTube switches you to a lower playback resolution. Shouldn't be blurry in the super source. Andre says, maybe you should relocate the comments on the map screen to the top as the bottom gets blocked by your gallery devices. Yeah, and I'm going to have a second layer of them also once I finish setting that up. So I definitely need to move the comments maybe just to the top of the screen. Michael says, I was staying in the dorms since Wednesday. Nice. That was where I spent 2 years in those dorms. Okay, actual questions coming in. Mark says, I'm doing a multicam live stream where they race bathtub boats. That's fun. About a ZOEBox to do SRT stream. Have you tried them? Will I be able to stream via cell service? I do have a ZOEBox here. I don't know if I've actually tested SRT out from it, come to think of it, because I've mostly been using it to receive streams in. And do I have... I mean, I can show you setting up SRT, but it's not super interesting. It's pretty straightforward. I don't know if I have the chaos router set up enough to really give that a try right now. I really need to finish that project. Speaking of, I'm not allowed to buy any more things until I finish all my projects. That is the new rule. Also, nobody can send me any more gear until I finish getting through this pile. Another rule. So, yeah. Will you be able to stream via cell service? Probably, yeah. So the trick with SRT is if you give it a bigger buffer, like if you give it a second of latency, it'll do better at recovering from glitches. So if you don't need it to be as low latency as possible, which you probably don't for just an SRT output, go up your latency more, because that'll give it the space in order to deal with dropouts from the cell service. Kura says Blackmagic doesn't support 4K ISO recording. How can I stream? Oops, my computer is out of RAM. OBS must have been open for too long. Chrome is taking 32 gigs of RAM. Jeez. And now my mouse is stuck. This is why I don't stream with computers. Blackmagic doesn't support 4K ISO. How can I stream and simultaneously record all inputs in 4K? Love the DaVinci ISO file. So the couple options for you, since there is no ISO 4K ISO recorder, and yes, OBS is in fact taking up like 50 gigs of memory. So I'm going to quit that and restart that, and also figure out which Chrome tabs are taking up all my RAM. It's probably my camera feed. So yeah, since there's no 4K ISO ATEM, what you can do, you have a couple options. So you can, if your camera's going to record 4K internal and you can get timecode to them, although actually it'll work with that timecode, it's just a little bit more setup. If you can get timecode into your cameras, then do your ISO recording in 1080 and then swap the files out later. And if they have timecode, it'll just automatically line up. And then in the Blackmagic Resolve project file, you can swap out the 1080 files with your 4K. You can also do it with HyperDex. So if you have a stack of HyperDex, then you can record 4K in these, and again get timecode into all these. Then you can again swap all the files later. So that's probably the easiest way to do it. SRT is amazingly stable if you give it the max 8-second delay. I don't think I've done it with 8 seconds. Let me grab OBS again. Let's see if it's gonna come back. There we go. Have I considered a pair of leaf springs on the chassis that make them that small? All that shaking makes me nervous. I have not. I don't even know what leaf springs are. Interesting. Don't know how I would attach that, but that is an interesting idea. I'll have to think about that. Mark says, I don't need live, just appearance of live. I have 4 boxes, 2 for transmitters and 2 receivers. Oh, you're not doing SRT for your main program, you're doing SRT between them. Okay, cool. Yeah. Great. Yeah. That should probably be fine. Adam says the camera did look low res in the super source. Video was sharp. That's super weird. How is that even possible? Let's bring the super source back. Does it look low res for me here? I don't think so. It doesn't look particularly low res in my multi-view. Why? How could it be different on the multi-view compared to the program? Maybe it was because your memory issue now gone and now it's high res. No, because the OBS and the computer have nothing to do with the stream. I mean, other than the overlay. Because the stream is all in the super sources in the ATEM has nothing to do with my computer. My computer could crash and I would still be live. Andre says it seems that your key for OBS isn't 100% correct. Oh yeah, so this is the weird thing about the deck link. I'm not using a I'm using a pre-multiplied key for the deck link or the Ultra Studio, because I meant to do that. So the pre-multiplied key means that I get proper transparency as opposed to picking a black point and everything below that is transparent. So what happens though is when a app on the computer does not use the Ultra Studio doesn't output pure black anymore. So when I quit OBS, or if I turn off the deck link output of OBS, you'll see this happen again. If I turn that off, now the output of the Ultra Studio isn't actually pure black. So, so if I engage the Ultra Studio, then it does give it a pure black output. So that's the weird thing. Don't know why. No idea. I've never really fully understood why it does that. When you first cut to it, it was low res. Now it looks normal. Maybe an encoding problem. That's super weird. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what's going on. Color is washed out on everything. I think you're all just messing with me. You say you had your camera open in Chrome? It was a very unusual issue. The rest of the frame was sharp. The only thing the computer is doing for the stream is outputting the OBS feed through the Ultra Studio physical hardware out SRT into the stream. So again, nothing on my... If the computer runs out of memory, OBS might do weird stuff. The computer might crash, whatever, but the ATEM is the one streaming the feed. So like, if you want, I can just yank the cord out of my computer and I'll still be live just to prove it. I should actually quit Resolve though, because I was using that to edit the Insta360 video that I don't need anymore. And it should probably free up that RAM. Anyway. IT Never Gets Old says, wow, I've noticed the almost black thing with ATEM OBS deck link and just decided to ask why. I have no idea why it does that. It seems weird for it to output almost black, but not black. Oh, and the cameras that I said I had open in Chrome were actually my Unify cameras, like the page of cameras looking at the feed of outside what's going on, which I assume uses a bunch of RAM, but nothing having to do with the stream. Hey, since I saw NX3D here from Cyprus, why don't we put this together right now? This arrived a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't had a chance to do this yet because last week John was on the stream, and well, let's get the RØDECaster video out of here since that's not the device this is for. And something happened the week before. I don't remember what it was, but this is the YoloBox Extreme stand for the massive YoloBox Extreme. So let's do that really quick. Shouldn't take that long. Oh, thanks. They sent me a little coaster. I do like their new printer that can print on random objects. It's very cool. I touched the YoloBox and it decided to turn on. It's a little sensitive. Okay, so we got handles. 3. Got a little instruction manual. We've got okay. Oh, look at that. The aluminum bars have printing on them now. That's cute. Nicely done. Fancy printer. Top and side handles in cage mode, so it's a dual purpose. Great, and here are the sides. There we go. I'm smart. And then all the little parts. Is the printing on the bars printing or etching? Definitely printing. It is not. I can feel it raised. Plus, I know they got a ultra. What's it called? UV printer. Okay, so. The bar printing is fiber. Oh, it's not actually printed. It's fiber lasered. Oh, that's even more cool. Could have well been EV printing. That's cool. So wait, why does it feel raised? Am I just feeling it? Is my finger tricking me? Because it does feel different. Because isn't fiber laser removing part of the... Okay, which screws do I use for the sides? 5 by 12. So these 1, 2, 3, 4. It feels raised, but it's in fact removing 0.1 millimeters of black anodized material. That's super interesting. This really is a large device. Oh, I should really pay attention to where the labels are because I already did it upside down. Now that there's labels, these aluminum bars have a direction that they should go. So we're going to do that. No, we're going to do that way. That way it's on the back. Yeah. And then where's the front one? The front one should go, yeah, like that. Okay. Then I need to slip the YoloBox in. Flashback to the 10-hour cart build. That really was a lot of cart building. We don't normally do white. Thanks. I do like the way it looks. Okay. I should probably drop a link for this in the chat. If I can find it. There we go. And that one. There we go. I guess those are all for the handles. Oh, I should probably put the little feet on. Oh yeah, insert the nuts first. So some of them are drop-in nuts, and there are 2 slide-in nuts. What are the slide-in ones for? So this says use the drop-in nuts for the cable managers. And side handles. Oh, the side handles are if that's what the long screws are for. Slide in for the top handle. Okay, that makes sense. So the side handles get long screws. If I want, should I do that? I guess I should probably do that. Well, I'll show you this first since it's already assembled. Okay, there's the little feet. There we go. So that's the later update later. So that is, oops, my other camera is being repurposed, but I have this one. There we go. So that is the desktop mode with and look at the nice little printing on the back and the front. That's the desktop mode. And then if you want to use it in cage mode, then you can start adding handles to it. So I can put the top handle, which I need to undo it to get the nuts in, and side handles, which are what the long screws are for. So let's go do that. Let's undo. Undo that one. And I'll use this opportunity to slide in the 2 nuts to the top. And then put that back. Go. Side handle with long nuts. Oops, I'm supposed to use washers. I saw that very nice warning. Please always use washers with the side handles. You get a washer, you get a washer. I think I caught myself before you reminded me. Great. Don't over tighten. That feels good. And then we do the other side, which is going to be a little harder now that I can't set it on the end. So we take out the short screws. And Come on. There we go. Side handle. Washer. Since I have a... Oh, there's the MySpace picture frame hiding back there. Long screw. And long screw. There we go. And now we've got side handles. And now I can do the top handle since I've got the washers in. Oops, it covers up the printing. I guess lasering. And then this one says... Well, I guess I have these short ones left. Nope, it's too short. Oh, geez. M5s. That looks good. There we go. And top handle. And now it's a cage. Oh, and the tripod screw is in the right spot on the YoloBox. That's good. Now I can attach all sorts of stuff to it. IT never gets old. Says, are you doing the fiber laser branding on everything, or is this a one-off for Aaron? Good question. No, we don't have to do an assembly video, thanks. This was not the best filmed assembly video, I will admit. But I am recording this because I added a recording automation to the Stream Deck, so that starts recording as soon as I start the show. So I could clip this out and send it. Great. Well, that's cute. A little overexposed on that shot. And I lost my side camera. Oh well. Man, this thing is huge. It's really, really big. Well, thanks. That was fun. Now it has a much better way to use it, and I can put it up on that shelf. Makes the chunky boy YoloBox even chunkier. Yeah. But hey, at least it's like at a better angle on the desk now. We do all products branded now. Nice. That's fun. Oh yeah, I should grab a link to that before I forget. Where do I have the link? Oh, look at that. Handy. Aiden says, any tips for connecting micro BNC? We got a video assist 5-inch, but I can't get any cables to work. I don't want to break the connector if I'm doing it wrong. It should just pop right in. I got a... Oh, I have the one that Gwen is talking about. Micro BNC to BNC that would work. And that is... It just pops in. I don't think there was any trick to it. But then it gives you, it's like a short cable, and then it gives you a regular BNC on the end. How many ports does it have? Yeah, right. I know. It's wild. It's 8 inputs. Show you the right way. I don't know if you'll be able to see the screen printing on the YoloBox. It's very faint. 8 inputs. 4 of them. No, weirdly 5 of them say 4K, and then 3 of them are HD, and then there's 2 HDMI outputs, and then 2 USBs, power, USB, Type-C, Ethernet, regular headphones, microphone. Yeah, so theoretically, 8 input. Definitely a big step up from the Ultra. What are you doing? Says, can you get a deck link or Ultra Studio to output a specific color when there is no signal? I don't think so. If there is, it would be in the Blackmagic desktop video app. Let's see if there's any options. So here is the app. When paused, display a full frame of video output, display a single field. Well, let's see what happens if I change it. And then if I go here and go to this and stop it, let's see what happens. Nope, same thing. It's very weird that it like brightens it, but you'll see if I turn off the downstream key, then it goes back to normal. So it's definitely... Wait, now it's not doing it. Oh, because the key is off. Jeez, smart. Yeah. So that didn't change anything. Video output, yeah. Oh well. Wait, did I not click save? I think I have to click save. Let's try that again. One more time. Tools, deck link output. Nope, didn't help. Okay. Just for good measure. Too many windows. Yeah, click save. Does the Fomaco PTZ camera system work with Blackmagic switchers? Well, I don't know about the PTZ control, but like I'm using AVCAN's PTZ for this angle, and the PTZ control is done in Companion, so I have Companion buttons here. I don't know about... I don't have any of the ATEMs with the PTZ knobs, so probably not, though. Actually, wait. No, isn't it just a regular PTZ control on those? I've never used one. It should, if it's just regular PTZ. Which are the ones that even have that? I can't even remember. I swear there's one. The 4K8 has the little knob. Let's see what the specs say. I'm forgetting the name of the PTZ protocol. VISCA. It doesn't mention it in the specs. It might just be, that might not be for PTZ. It might be for other camera control. I haven't ever played with this one. I borrowed this one for a little while. I have a video somewhere on the channel about this one, or a live stream, I think. But I have not tried the 4K8. And I don't think any of the other ATEMs have PTZ at all. The micro camera panel is for shading. The yeah. Clear Life Media says we have the same PTZ and use VISCA with the control panel on a Constellation and it works great. Oh, really? Okay, with the control panel. Which control panel? Advanced panel? I didn't think those had... Oh, there is the little knob on those. Also things that I've never really used. Advanced panel. So that's cool. It's weird that it doesn't mention the protocol on the specs page. But great. Good enough. Advanced panel have a joystick. Both work. Great. IT never gets old. Says when I first noticed it, I thought the almost black thing was something I introduced with my HDMI matrix, but seeing on your OBS ATEM deck link is enlightening. Yes, it is. It is a not an HDMI thing. What are you doing? Says I asked because we use a PC monitor out for chroma key overlay. The monitor's desktop background is green in case presentation app crashes. Good idea. Custom background spanning all monitors so they all have the correct looks. Clever. Have I tried with software other than OBS? No, but the problem is that when the software is not running is when that happens. So when OBS is running, it's correct and it outputs pure black. And if OBS is not running, like if nothing is using the Ultra Studio, then the Ultra Studio doesn't output pure black. It's weird. If we upgrade to an SDI ATEM, we will likely need a deck link. I really wish they made something between a Thunderbolt device that had more than one SDI output, because I have the little tiny mini monitor, which is what I was using last week for the stream with John, because the power supply in my case broke, and I need to still deal with that. So I was scrambling to be like, what can I do? And I remembered that there was an Ultra Studio dongle thing upstairs in Lily's set, so I stole hers and then replaced it. And I just wish there was one of those that had either key fill output or two outputs, preferably where it can be configured like you can a deck link card, but that over Thunderbolt. So, oh well, that'd be handy. Gwen Googled, thanks. Looks like ATEM Switcher's 962 added support for VISCA over IP on all constellations in 2024. Very cool. That's very cool. IT never gets old says, how is the electrical permitting going? So we did hear back on Tuesday last week. The city did respond to everything. But then the permit expired weirdly the day before for some reason, which I don't fully understand because they're supposed to be valid for 6 months. So now they had to reactivate the permit before we can resubmit, but we should be able to tomorrow resubmit the permit. And that should take very few days to get approved at this point, because it's just a change now. And then finally we can get the solar panels installed, and then I can call the city to get power installed. But in the meantime, we've had an extension cord running in a window and up the stairs into the electrical panel, which is on the roof, inside on the top, and just hot wired into the panel. Very safe. The electrician did it, not me. It's legit. And let's see, I think I have a photo of it somewhere. Yes. The why can't I hide the sidebar? I just move it off the screen. This is the panel before, so very official extension cord chopped with its plug chopped off. Neutral goes into the neutral bus. The hot gets tied into both phases of the breaker panel. It's into a 30 amp breaker, but it doesn't matter because at the other end of this, this is actually plugged into a 20 amp breaker that's at the temporary pole, so it's actually properly protected. This one wouldn't flip, but the one at the pole would. And then this that back feeds the panel with power. So that's what we had until just last week, and then I bought a little plug thing. So I took a 30 amp extension cord, chopped one end off, and replaced it with this plug, which so this is wiring this up. I chopped, that was what I had before, which is the wrong plug for the generator inlet. This is actually a 50 amp plug. Again, doesn't matter because I'm only giving it 30 amps because there's a 30 amp breaker at the other end. So I wired that up, and then got it all pretty, and then I can plug that in to the generator inlet. So this is a 50 amp inlet that's down on the ground floor in one of the exterior closets. So now the extension cord runs on the outside of the house from the pole to the back of the lot in this room into there, and that feeds the breaker panel from here, this 50 amp. So this is the trick to it, which makes this actually legal, which is this metal plate that's over the top of these two. It basically is a physical barrier preventing you from ever being able to have both the main breaker and this on at the same time. So in order to flip this on, you have to move this metal piece out of the way, but that requires this one to move. So you have to shut this one off first. Then this can get up there, this can slide up there, and then you can turn the main breaker on. So basically it's a way to backfeed your panel legitimately, where the city and the power company won't mind, because you can't ever have them both on, which means you can never actually backfeed the pole at the street, which is the dangerous part. Because obviously if the power goes out and the crew is working on the pole, you don't want to be sending them your generator power. So anyway, did that, which is nice because now, one, there's no extension cord running through the house precariously, also requiring the panel to be open. And two, we actually have 30 amps of power now, not 15. So that means we can actually like run a microwave and things like that. So yeah. I don't have the guts to play with high voltage. I barely do. I'm comfortable with little things like that. Yeah, I lost the Thunderbolt box for Zoom ISO right before the show because I didn't test the night before, which is what I should have done. Really should have set it up the night before. But I've just been getting up so early on Sundays anyway because Lily's up and like out the door by 3:30 a.m. anyway. So I just get up early and then set up for this show starting at, I don't know, 7 or 8. Usually sometimes 8 if I'm feeling like procrastinating. Sometimes 7. And then like for the show with John, I got up earlier and set things up. Photo Mix Media says, use Fomaco PTZ system with its controller. Connect the PTZ cameras to Blackmagic Design via SDIs as possible. Yeah, totally. With the older ATEMs, they were very picky about, like, this is very old now. They didn't have frame rate converters on the inputs, so if you weren't getting a signal, it might be because your camera is set to 50 frames per second, but your switcher's at 30, or the difference between 29.97 and 30 can also be incompatible. But the Constellations and the ATEM Minis and all the ATEM, like, all the ATEM Mini line and all the Constellation line and the TV Studio line now, they all have frame rate converters, so it doesn't really matter anymore. And you can usually take, as long as it's not 4K to 1080, as long as it's 1080 on both sides, then it should figure it out. So generally, like, the SDI and HDMI are not, like, brand specific. So you should be able to, you should expect at least that you take any HDMI or SDI source, plug it into a ATEM, and it'll work. It's not always that simple, especially with HDMI and HDCP, but generally that is true. So, and you just have to make sure that, yeah, your resolution is the big one. Like, don't try to send a 4K signal into an ATEM Mini. It's just not going to work. TVJ says, I didn't try my setup before live streaming the other day and my camera was busted. Always test your gear. Yep, exactly. What do you think of using a Wavelink Dual 4K instead of Decklink for key fill? I've never heard of that one before. Never heard of that brand, even, weirdly. Let's see what that is. Wavelink docking station. 2 HDMIs. I don't think this is the same thing. So this looks like just a docking station. This supports 2 monitors. And also, I can't even remember, honestly, the state of things with Macs as to how they deal with 2 monitors and, like, Thunderbolt devices. I know some of the docks, if they have 2 HDMI outs, the Macs treat them as one display, but Windows can address them separately. Anyway, point is, this is clearly not a desktop or like a video broadcast tool. This is just a desktop tool. The big difference is this is going to show up as a monitor to the computer, or multiple monitors, right? And for some things, it's fine. John's H2R graphics app is, you can use it for that, where basically you take your, let's see, I need to open up the other one. No, I don't remember how to do it. So there's a way to get the second output on here, I thought. Somebody tell me how to use this app. I thought there was a way to get 2 video windows out of this. Theme, media. Huh, maybe not. I could have sworn there was a way to get a second window that outputs the alpha channel. Anyway, so point is, if you have an app like this, or if you have any other thing on your computer, you can like full screen it and then full screen the other one and send it out 2 monitors and get key fill that way. But notice that, like, my mouse cursor appears on the top of this, and if the app ever crashes, it's going to just come back to your desktop or whatever, right? And the way that the Decklink works and OBS is not at all like that. So, like, you saw the in this app, I have the Ultra Studio 4K and the Ultra Studio Monitor 3G plugged in. This one's over Thunderbolt. This one's, no, both over Thunderbolt. Somehow, I guess that's all of my ports, because there's only 2 Thunderbolt ports on this thing. Anyway, both connected over Thunderbolt, and these do not show up as monitors. So I can't output my computer screen to those devices. They're not monitor outputs. They're special video output devices. And OBS knows how to use those devices. So notice how this does not show me different monitors to output this is these devices specifically. And if the device has support for the key fill output itself, then like the 4K Mini does, then you do that, you set your keyer to external, and there's only a single feed going out of OBS into that device. That device takes the alpha channel and outputs a separate feed of that. So the computer is really just outputting, you know, this OBS scene over that to that device. That device splits it into the two video feeds, which is totally different from using like the monitor output of. I don't even think OBS can do it. Can it? I guess it probably can. Where you full screen projector, right? Like I can output OBS output over one of my monitor outputs. If I have multiple monitors, then I would get multiple in this list. But I don't think the alpha channel from OBS can be output over a second monitor. So you have to use a different app for that, whatever, like H2R graphics. Oh, H2R home window. That makes sense. Can I figure out how to get back to the home window? There it is. Here we go. Output. There we go. So now I have control room. So I have two outputs now. So if I do like time of day, you see it's outputting the just the alpha channel over this one. So if this was on one monitor output and this was on the other, then you can key them back in on the ATEM that way. But this is, I think it's very dangerous because again, if your app crashes, those monitors turn into who knows what, right? Whereas if OBS crashes, like, you know, I quit it because my OBS ran out of memory, then the worst thing that happens is the Ultra Studio outputs a slightly above black color and the key is slightly off, but like it's not like it went to my desktop or something. So that's the big difference. Uncheck pre-multiplied key and use those values, clip 45 and gain 15. Why? So if I'll show you. Oh yeah, and you blow two inputs into the ATEM. Well, I mean you do for the key fill output too. So if let's see, let me put something in OBS that is more than just a black screen. Let's do. Let me turn off the key while I do this. So let's do let's just do a color source, green, and I'm going to put it just down here. So if I do that and turn on my downstream key, now I have, oh, really I should have a gradient to make the point here, but we can mess with it. We can mess with, let's make it a dark green. Actually, you know what I really want is a photo. That's the best demo. Let's use a image. Let's use my photo because I have, not show you my whole files. I have a photo of myself with a black background, which is a good demonstration of the problem of this. So we're going to take this photo, we're going to move it into the corner, and we're going to bring it on air. So notice that my photo has a pretty much black background. It's not 100%, but it's close, right? So I'm going to turn this back on, and this looks like what I would want it to look like, right? I've got a nice black background around the photo, a hard edge, and everything looks good. So now let's go over here, and instead of pre-multiplied key, we'll do clip and gain on that. So the and just to make the point, I'm going to set this to Ultra Studio Fill. So now I've got the same image being used for key and fill, which is what you get out of a monitor output or out of a Ultra Studio with just one SDI or HDMI out. So now I have to choose what part of the black is transparent. And you can see that either it's going to be too much, or if I start removing, it's really hard to find the right spot where it doesn't remove some of the black from the photo. So I can start, I can remove too much and the photo starts getting messed up. Or if I go, looks like I got lucky here because this photo is just far enough above black that there is the 7.6% spot that works, right? But that is very lucky that this photo doesn't have anything below that black. So that is why I prefer a proper key fill channel, because then I can use the Ultra Studio key, set the pre-multiplied, and now I've got a perfect key, including if I had gradient, which I don't think I can do here, but if this was like, well, if it does, if I animate it on and off, duplicate. If I turn this off and then do this, oh, I have the stinger transition on. Let's do a crossfade. Yeah. So now I can fade in and out precisely, right? But if I was on not pre-multiplied key and use the same one, now it's going to, do you see how it kind of like drops out at one point and skips back in, because everything below 7% is like a hard cut. So, yeah. So that's why I prefer using a proper dual output for the graphics. And then let's get those out of here. Where was I? There's a whole discussion going on. Here's where it starts. Clearlift Media says, I want to be able to run 2 wireless networks in 2 different locations. Okay, one in the venue, one in the production trailer. Okay, I've tried running 2 GL iNets, it never works. Is there a solution? What is the problem? Because if they're 2 different networks in 2 different locations, they shouldn't have anything to do with each other. Are you trying to do something? What are you trying to do? I assume you're trying to have 2 access points with the same LAN. Okay, I have one in the venue, but our trailer has trouble getting cell service because it's a big metal trailer. Having wireless in the trailer would be awesome. Try different routers, still the same connection works, not recognizing the internet connection. Yeah, you do want AP mode, not router mode. For some reason, in router mode with 2 connected, the one in router mode still doesn't go online and you lose control over the router, so I can't see what's happening on it. The issue with the venue wireless is we go to a bunch of random ones, so it's nice that the team can use our own wireless networks and passwords. Yeah, so it sounds like what you actually want is, this might be better on Discord. It sounds like what you actually want is access points, not routers. So access points are just the like Ethernet to Wi-Fi connection, not the full-on be a router and serve DHCP addresses and stuff. So it sounds like what you want is just a bunch of access points. And you can configure the GL iNets to be access points, but it might be easier to just get an access point. So use your GL iNet, use one GL iNet as your router. So you take like whatever internet connection you're getting from the venue, plug it into the the WAN port on the GL-iNet. That becomes your router. That is one. It can also be an access point for that one spot, but you need a Ethernet cable from that to an access point. So it could be another GL-iNet configured in access point mode, or it could be a different device that's just going to broadcast the access point. But the point is that you don't want them both in router mode, because then things are going to get weird. So yeah, think of it as, I agree with your goal, which is, yeah, same network, have access point in both spots. So your goal is you want your own local network separate from the venue. Great. 100% agree. Always do that. For so many reasons. And think of your local network as all wired stuff, and then you're going to add the Wi-Fi broadcast access points in 2 different locations connected into your network. So one of the Wi-Fi broadcast points could be the GL-iNet router that is your main entry into your network, but you could also just have 2 separate access points in 2 different locations plugged into your local network. So I have a feeling that you're probably just got both in router mode, and that's why things are getting weird. TBJ says, always use key and fill if possible. Maybe it seem harder, but will actually be easier in the long run. 100% agree. This is why I want Blackmagic, or someone, I don't really care if it's Blackmagic, someone to make a device that OBS can use and get key fill output over Thunderbolt that is not a full-on Ultra Studio, because that's expensive and huge. I like their little tiny ones, but I want one with key fill output. So right now, LilyStream is stuck with just a single output that is Luma keyed, and then you do get the weird, some parts of the images are transparent. Chad says, is there a USB-C dongle you suggest for an iPad for mix effect to get USB-C and Ethernet in? Magewell is sending me their new IP to USB to test. Oh, cool. I remember seeing that. Now I can't remember the details of that. There are a handful of USB-C to Ethernet and HDMI dongles. The one I've been using is from Uni. Let's see if I can find it. It is, here's one of them. This one's good too. This is Thunderbolt, 100-watt power delivery, gigabit Ethernet, 4K HDMI. Yeah, this one will work. There's also, oh, this is the one that I have on the desk right now. Also, oh, it's got the SD card reader also. Yep. I also used key and fill in the ATEM, but unchecking pre-multiplied key, and with those values, I never had a problem. Oh yeah, well, I mean, so if I wish I need to get this super source. I need to get this super source set up. So super source 2, box 2 is the computer. I need box 3, which is going to be the Ultra Studio key. I want to show you all the screens here. So, oops. Box 3 is the key. We're going to make that small. Box 4. Is not the side cam. It is no crop. It is going to be Ultra Studio Fill. Then I really should make this a preset. There you are. Okay. So now if I go back to OBS and turn that back on. So this is what these are the two video feeds that are being sent to the ATEM that is then in the downstream key with pre-multiply key. So if I take the pre-multiply key off, and if the clip is too low, it's going to turn the whole stream black, right? But if the clip is somewhere down here, like 7, pretty dark, it's using the channel off of the one that's got the black and white square. So it's still a pretty good key. It's just not going to be 100% perfect for if I had a gradient of a transparency. But now, yes, if the deck link output goes down here, apparently my clip is not quite right. Let's raise that a bit until I find it. So there it is. Or let's see, is it the gain also? Yeah. Oh, nope. What were the numbers you said that worked? So me trying to guess it. It was where did it go? Clip 45, gain 15. Okay. Oh, clip 45, gain 15. That's the opposite of what I would have thought. Okay. Other way around. So if we do clip 45, gain 15, now if I bring my, okay, we'll start that. Yeah. So this looks fine. And if my deck link output goes away, then the output, oh, it is still tweaking it a bit. I can see it. I can see it. Huh. Nope, it's still doing it. Ah, there we go. I got it. Okay. Now when the deck link output goes away, the slightly less than black output is black enough to be keyed out. The problem is that this does not work with no, let's do it in Keynote because I can probably do it faster. Oops, that's the App Store, not Keynote. Where is Keynote? So in Keynote, let's do a quick shape here. Oh, who is here? Some crew is here today. In a car I don't recognize. Okay, so we'll do a gradient fill. And we're going to give it black over here and white over here. And then we're going to do, oops, angle like that. Okay, so I want to demonstrate this like this. Export PNG. Keynote gradient, and then we're going to go and bring that into OBS. Image. Keynote gradient. Okay. Great. I need to simulate this by doing that. So if the key channel had a smooth gradient, now we can experiment with the different settings. And I'm going to go find your 45% and 15. Okay. 45, 15. So this is the 45 and 15. gradient, and then I can change it to pre-multiplied, and this is the difference. So yeah, do you see how on the white end there's more that's blocked, there's more that's invisible, and on this end it's not fully transparent. But if I go to pre-multiplied, then it's actually the smooth gradient that's the input is now perfectly smooth across the whole picture. So this is the difference between faking it with the clipped, not pre-multiplied, versus actually using the key channel properly. So if I change this, obviously it's going to change how much of the white and black point is being used. And then the gain is like changing, kind of see what it's doing, right? It's changing how sharp of the edge of the gradient it is. Fun effects. Now, how do I undo all this? Get that out of there. And get that out of there. It's partly cloudy on the ATEM today. Dan's planning says, can I make an image that works with pre-multiply key? Why can't I do pre-multiply video over a single ATEM input? Oh, I can make an image that works with pre-multiply key. Why can't I pre-multiply video over single ATEM input? Because why can't you? It's an interesting question. Why? I don't know why. I don't know, actually. Oh, somebody knows. Drop it in the chat. No background and picture comments after messing with the settings. Because I forgot to set it back to pre-multiply key. And set my key source back to the Ultra Studio key. There we go. Further demonstrating the problem. The Ultra Studio fill channel being used is an interesting effect. And then if I don't have the clip and gain right, then I am back to this problem. Pre-multiplied doesn't do quite what I want because the key source needs to be the Ultra Studio key. And now it's correct. And now it looks like this is the key channel is the one with the white background. The fill is the one with the actual information in it. SDI only carries Luma and Chroma, and key is the alpha channel equivalent. Right, but that's not the same as pre-multiplied, because you can pre-multiply an image and still give it no alpha channel, right? Circuit Baker says, hi, my company is setting up a podcasting studio. Which cameras would you recommend to pair with the RØDECaster video? Oh, good question. I actually really like the Sony ZV E10 or A64 or A6600 line. They're not terribly expensive, and you can get a variety of lenses with them, and the autofocus on them is really good if that's the thing you need. The that's a good option if you don't want to spend a ton, and they're relatively easy to use. I helped set someone up with that exact setup, RØDECaster video plus 3 Sony ZV E10s, and he's been doing great with them. I of course also like Lumix cameras, so all mine are the BGH1s. Those are a lot more expensive. I got them on very, very good discount. But for a long time I was using Lumix G7s, and you could, at least a couple of years ago, find them used for $400 or $500 pretty consistently. the key thing is to get one with interchangeable lens because of any kind, because you're going to want different focal lengths for the different angles, and you don't want every shot to be wide, right? Cool. Okay, we should probably wrap this up. This has been a fun stream, but yeah, I think it's about time. I need to go set things up for the party. I've got a roof to set up. I've got to install the pump for the misting system. I've got to install some lights, hang some little decorative lights and LED lights. I've got to finish the door intercoms, which have been a lot of fun to do. It's almost all working, including with a, I have a phone system in the house now. I installed freepbx on a server at the house, and now all of my phones have extensions in the house, and I can call the intercoms. The front door can call this. I can unlock it by pushing a button. I've got a voicemail system. I even rigged it up to an actual phone number that I can call my cell phone from. It's wild. It's very cool. I don't know why it's so much fun to play with actual phones again. My plan is I'm actually getting a very old phone for Lily's office. It's going to look super cute, and that is going to be tied into the system too, so that it'll ring when somebody's at the front door. This was yesterday's project, drilling a hole in the wall and finding the Ethernet cable and then attaching the little intercom connector to it. And now I've got the nice door intercom on the wall. Shows you who's at the front door, and push the unlock button to unlock the door. It's super cool. There is something about phones that's fun. I don't know what it is. Is it because it's like, I guess for me, I do know what it is. It's because I grew up with landlines and all the limitations of them. So then cell phones were like very novel as a concept, right? Of like, what do you mean you can just carry your phone around? And then, but when landlines were normal, it was very difficult, or at least expensive, to do anything interesting with them. So what I mean by that is, like, running a phone system in the house would have been unheard of in the 90s, right? So best I did was, all the phones are tied to one circuit, so if you pick them all up, you can treat them like an intercom, but that's not really the same thing. So I think that's what's fun, is like, this stuff just became super accessible to do all the fancy stuff that you used to be able to do, which was limited to very expensive installs or offices or whatever. And now you can just do it for free at your house. It's kind of cool. What am I using for the telephony card? So there's these GrandStream boxes that convert their, well, this one's an IP phone. This one's Wi-Fi. So this is on the Wi-Fi network. It has a web server on it, so you can like configure it all from a web page that's hosted by this physical phone. Wild. But I have an analog phone also, because the one I got for Lily's office is a old style, like with a bell and like a wooden handle and everything, and just takes an analog phone jack. So for that, I have a GrandStream box that is a Ethernet in and phone jack out, and that thing does the SIP registration and knows about the SIP network, and then it converts it to an analog phone line. I'm also thinking about doing that with a payphone. Like, you can buy converted payphones. There's a place that just sells actual payphones that were installed, like the classic ones that you saw all over the US, and they like ripped out all the guts and replaced it with a basic phone circuit, so you can just plug it into an analog phone line and use it as a regular handset. And I think I might do that and put it out on the street. I think it would be hilarious to have like people walking by and pick up the phone, and it'll just start like, I don't know, saying random things, or I could make it ring if it sees somebody walking by, because the cameras can spot someone walking on the edge of the sidewalk, and then I can make it ring the phone, so they pick it up. I don't know, just the weird things I could do with a payphone. I think it'd be a lot of fun. What door intercom am I using? It's called Doorbird. It's a German company, and I did a lot of research before I landed on this, and I do wonder if the landscape is a little bit different now. But this was because this is I started this project like 5 years ago, but it's a very nice system. It's kind of expensive. Everything is local in the house except if you want to use their apps, which you absolutely do not have to use, and I probably won't actually use. So like the intercom, they talk to each other directly over your LAN. They do support SIP, so I can actually give them extensions in the PBX. I can actually like dial the front door intercom from a SIP phone. Oh no, Gwen, you have Doorbird? What kind of issues do you have? So far, it's been like fine so far. I mean, I've done test setups of this, but I just installed it on the actual house like 2 days ago. Tie an AI agent to it and it'll be fun. I agree. I agree. My new GrandStream router has a PBX built in, but I haven't played with it. Actually, it should be my next stream. Do it. I'm using freepbx. It was pretty quick to install, and I found a really good YouTube channel, which I do not remember the name of, that went through the whole setup tutorial. It was really good. I should find the name of it. It's probably in my YouTube watch history. Seems like the nice thing to do. It is... There it is. Crosstalk Solutions. Here is one of the videos. There we go. Gwen says, intercom goes down every X amount of time, takes 30 seconds to buzz my phone, door buzzer fails now and then, stuff like that. Well, the door buzzer is not part of the Doorbird. That's a separate piece. So that would fail regardless of Doorbird. I think any phone solution that goes to your cell phone is going to be kind of slow. I mean, the one at my old building was definitely didn't have like apps. So it would just dial your phone. And you know, that would take a while. You have to find your extension on the box, wait for the phone to ring, you pick it up. You can install the Doorbird app. It is definitely like laggier than typing in a code on the door itself, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. I hope it works, because I definitely can't return it anymore. It's been several years since I bought it. I maybe jumped the gun a little bit with it, but I was very excited about it. Anyway, yeah, I got some projects to do, and it is 10:30 on a Sunday, so I should get to work before it gets too hot out, and that's the rest of my day. Cool. Well, thanks for all the questions, everybody, and thanks to the extreme supporters of the channel, Tom, Larry, Andre, Kevin, and Marcin, and thanks to all the other channel members for your support. Remember, if you are a channel member, please find the link below down to the members Discord, and that's where we can keep chatting throughout the week. I've been posting some of my progress updates in the channels there on the house project, and we can also help troubleshoot that dual Wi-Fi access point question there. So that'll be fun. Yeah, next week should be a regular stream, same time, same place. I don't see why not. We'll see how it goes. I probably am going to just be working on house projects all week, because house projects and work projects, because things are coming along. If you are curious about more house updates, we did just post an update on the House Files channel, so go take a look over there. There should be a link below, but I just dropped it in the chat just in case. The latest update was on the paint. It was actually filmed a while ago, but just posted. My fault. But there'll be more episodes coming out shortly with more updates. So with that, see you all again next week. Thanks, and